Okay, they were live. All right, guys. Oh my goodness. Welcome to a late night episode of the Late Night Show with Dr. Kojo. I'm your host, Dr. Kojo, and we're talking about 3 signs that you should go ahead and get that Autism ADHD evaluation. We're going live much later than we normally go, so I do want to acknowledge the folks that were waiting for me to go live at the regular time. We did not do that tonight, and it is with great sadness that we are so late. So we will work on that per usual. But we're going to have an outstanding show tonight, and I'm so excited to be here, and I'm excited to get into it. So as you can see, I got a couple of dots on my shirt. I was taking the sparkling water from the fridge, and I forgot that you shouldn't be shaking these things. And guess what your boy did? Your boy shook it. Your boy shook it. And then I opened it up, and it just sprayed everywhere. Let it spray, Kodak, let it spray. So, Shasi, come here. Come here, though. So, the people want to see it, Zo. Come here. Zo, go. Go. Good, Zo. Yes, good, Shasti. Good, Shasti. The people want to see you. Shasti. There we go. Can we see this dog in there? Oops, I want y'all to see the dog, but I don't want y'all to see the pile of clothes that I pushed in the corner. We don't want the pile of clothes to show. No. We have to create the illusion that I'm clean. We are live on a couple of different platforms tonight. We are streaming live on TikTok. Shout out to my TikTokers. We are streaming live on Facebook. Shout out to my Facebookers. We are streaming live on YouTube. And also on LinkedIn as well. We should be streaming live on LinkedIn. Said a temporary problem happened. No, we need to go live on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn folk need to see this. My LinkedIn boys and girls need to take in this live stream. If you're watching this live stream on TikTok, your comments will not come on this screen. So that sucks. No way around it. It sucks. But if you're watching this live stream on Facebook or on YouTube, your comments will come on the screen. Go ahead and use the comment section to let me know where you were checking from. If you are on one of those 2 platforms, YouTube or Facebook, or even LinkedIn, your comments will be on the screen. If not, I'll just have to read what you said on TikTok, and I can do that because I got the phone here. We have Barbara checking in from Tennessee. Barbara, how are you? Joni checking in from Tennessee as well. Okay, my Tennessee boys and girls are accounted for. Maryland in the house. Shelly, how are you? Keisha said that I really appreciate your content. It's informative. Well, Mrs. M. Davis, I do what I can. And then we have somebody on YouTube who says, I just want the answer. I thought this was a short. So this is not a short, but I do post the shorts where we talk about ADHD, which is autism and ADHD. So the shorts, you'll get a version of what could be the answer in 12 seconds, 8 seconds. How long are the shorts? But even then, y'all were saying, please make the last part be longer. So I don't know how to make y'all happy. Joni, I appreciate you. And this is a safe space for my neurodivergence. If you're neurodivergent, or even if you think you could be neurodivergent, this is a very safe space for you. This is the safest of spaces. The comment section here is kind and cordial. In my comment section, you have Republicans and Democrats kissing. We don't care about what you believe in or what you vote for. We're all here because we have neurodivergent brains. We're a little off. And I love this platform because I don't have to act like I'm normal. I can just be myself on here. I don't have to act and pretend like I'm normal. I have to pretend as if I'm a normal person all day. Maybe when I'm on stage doing comedy, that's the one place where I can show my crazy. But outside of that, I don't have a lot of safe spaces to just be crazy and to, just let my hair down, so to say. So that's why I love this community. It's just hard to be patient. It is hard. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's hard. I don't like being patient, but I guess I have to be. Shelly checking in from England. My UK boys and girls, how are you? My UK boys and girls, how are you? How the misfits. We're here. Josh, I appreciate you. Let me see what my people on TikTok are saying. Joy Luck on TikTok says, but here you can be goofy and happy. Right. And Ms. Visa said, I just threw away my phone box, doctor. Ms. Visa on TikTok, congratulations. There's no need to keep those old phone boxes. Get rid of them. Throw them away right now. Throw them away right now. Ardenwood says, when is your next show? Great question. I actually do not know when my next show is. We may do a show at the Fourth Wall. Actually, you reminded me. I was supposed to text the bookers and get a show going. Mickey Ficky. Look at me forgetting. I'm like, I know I'm supposed to have a show soon. And I forgot to send a message. Oh, and I forgot to text my cleaner to take my clothes to the tailor. Okay, guys, it's all coming back to me now. It's all coming back to me now. One of the December shows. And we're also looking to get a show in San Francisco as well. I have to just text the people. So if you're in California, you're in luck. If you're outside of California, next year we'll be back on tour. So don't worry. And thank you for your patience, by the way. Sarah from New Mexico, Suki Bear from Texas. Is my mom going to call? I don't know. My mom could call at any time. I Don't Care About You is from Arizona. That's somebody's name on TikTok. The name is I Don't Care About You. That's their actual name. That's Arizona in the house. Sarah says, okay, so I'm ADHD, but I relate to so much of the RDHD stuff. How do I find out if that's a diagnosis? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. That is what we're going to talk about today. All right? We're going to talk about that today. And let me go ahead and just say that getting diagnosed with ADHD and autism are two separate processes. It's very different to get diagnosed for either one. Now, the way I believe psychiatry should be done is that every psychiatric evaluation should screen you for ADHD and autism. However, is that the case? No, it's not the case, because as it is with many things in this world, psychiatry is not perfect. So most psych evals, unless you bring it up, they're not even screening you for ADHD. So in a sense, you are playing your own doctor. This is not everybody, but this is kind of how things are. The average psychiatric evaluation, if your clinician is thinking about ADHD as a potential diagnosis, would include that. However, when it comes to autism, most people don't even think about that at all. If you're autistic, you're just kind of out of luck. It's like you have to think about it on your own. And it amazes me how doctors can miss an autism diagnosis, but your bully in the 7th grade was spot on. The people that were joking and they said, oh, you look like you're on the spectrum. And it hit hard. It hit home for you because you were like, damn, like I actually do think I'm on the spectrum. Like they could be right. Like they're joking, but you're like, damn, like I've been thinking I'm on the spectrum. The whole time your doctor's not been thinking about you having autism. It's funny how that works, right? Yeah. No, I got a point. I got a point. Sometimes the bully is right. And I'm not advocating for bullying, but sometimes the bully is right. Sometimes your partner, the person that you're dating, when they look at you, they're like, you got a little autism in you, don't you? They're kind of right. Now, never mind the fact that you can't have a little autism. I know what they're trying to say, but you can't have a little autism. That's not how it works. It's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. But you get diagnosed with either one at a time. And you can have ADHD and autism at the same time. What normally happens is that people get the ADHD diagnosis. If you're being diagnosed later in life, right? People normally get the ADHD diagnosis, then they get the autism one once their ADHD has been treated. Because now you're able to focus for a little bit. You're able to get things done. So we'll see what the rest of the impairment is. And sometimes when you dig deeper, then we see that the autism has been hiding there the whole time. Kind of like that scene in Mrs. Doubtfire at the end where she's like, the whole time, 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 it was autism and ADHD. The whole time. Somebody here is from Colombia. Okay, the hamster queen. I don't know if I'm autistic or anything, but just suspecting. Well, that's normally how it starts off. People suspect and they're like, hold up. It starts off as a suspicion, and the suspicion grows and it grows and it grows, and you're like, all right, I gotta get checked out. I gotta get checked out. And for those of y'all who are looking to get a potential diagnosis, what you would do, I tell everybody this: Google psychiatrist near me. And what's going to pop up is a list of practitioners, psychologists, psychiatrists, psychiatric nurse practitioners, physician assistants, all of whom can diagnose ADHD and or autism. When you go for the ADHD assessment, it should be a psychiatric evaluation if you're talking to somebody from the world of psychiatry, which is a world that I exist in. So the psychiatric evaluation should, at the end of that, you should have a pretty good idea whether you have ADHD or not. You should also have a pretty good idea of if an autism screening assessment is warranted. So if your psychiatric provider does a whole 1 hour evaluation with you and they say, I think it would be helpful to get an autism assessment, then you should get an autism assessment. I think like 95% of the patients that I see that I tell them to go on and get an autism assessment have autism. So from that first appointment, I can normally tell, but still we have to go through the formal process of getting that autism assessment. And that involves, a couple of hours of testing. We talk about what's going on now, talk about how you've been, growing up. And if you have a parent or somebody who knows you really well, all that information can be very helpful. So that's how you would get the autism assessment. And if you were diagnosed as a kid, you know what's funny? I had to put that sound off. You know what's funny? The funny thing about this is if you received a diagnosis as a kid, there's a good chance that you could have been diagnosed with autism before you were diagnosed with ADHD, if you have both. Because as a kid, you can be diagnosed with autism at the age of 2. Nobody is being diagnosed with ADHD at 2 years of age. Think about, have y'all ever been around babies? Maybe y'all have small kids at home where you remember when your child was a baby, or maybe you saw a baby on the plane the other day. Babies cry. Babies cry. Babies are always making a mess. Babies are naturally sporadic. So nobody is diagnosing a child with ADHD until the age of 6, at least. I like to wait till 7 to 8, honestly, but at least 6. So there's no 3-year-old out there who has ADHD. And if your doctor diagnosed your 3-year-old with ADHD, just fire your doctor, because they don't know what they're talking about. That's not how it should be. So if you're diagnosed in your childhood, there's a good chance that you could have been diagnosed with autism first, then the ADHD. Because as a kid, if you're going to get either diagnosis, you would get the autism one first, because you can diagnose that formally as young as 2 years old. Whereas ADHD, you have to wait until 6 or 7. But as an adult, like I said, it tends to be reversed. Like this song, reverse, reverse. People normally get the ADHD diagnosis first. And then they're like, there's something else. Kind of like Scooby-Doo, when you watch until the end of the episode and then they take off the mask and they're like, it was you all along. That sort of thing. So tonight, that's what we're going to do. I have 3 signs that you might want to be assessed for ADHD and autism. All right. I got my list here on the little laptop. I don't think y'all can see the laptop. Somebody saying, where's your wife? Is there another creator that people will just come out here and say, "Where's your wife?" Who said that? Lauren Owens on TikTok said that. Where is your wife? Which wife? Which one are you talking about? The main one or the other three? And Lisa said, "You have a book." I do have a book. Navigate your way to the link in my bio to purchase my latest book. My latest book is called "You Already Won." It's a mental health workbook, and leave a review for me on Amazon. I really appreciate that. But I have two books. The first one is called "You Already Won." Second one is "Feeling Good: A Mental Health Workbook." And the second book also comes in audio book form. So if you're somebody who listens to books instead of reading them, you can listen to my book, and it's narrated in my voice, which is pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool. So, all right. 3 signs that you should be screened for ADHD and autism. All right. Number 1, you have peculiar issues socially. So when I say peculiar, what am I talking about? You have these contradictions. So socially, you tend to miss cues and take things literally. At the same time, you also jump into conversations, tend to overshare, and can somehow be smooth in social situations. Now, that doesn't make any sense. How can you miss social cues and take things literally and be confused in the social setting on a Monday, but on a Tuesday, you go out to a different function and now you're smooth? You're able to jump into conversations. You're oversharing. You're the life of the party. How does that even happen? Because on one day, you were closed off and it seemed like you didn't know what was going on. The very next day, you're in the middle of the party. You're dancing. You're having a good time. You might be a little tipsy. You might be a little high. But now you're connecting with people so much to the point where you're oversharing. How does this happen? How does this happen? Now, this could be the ADHD part or the autism part. I think people automatically think that every autistic person misses social cues. That's not always the case. Sometimes the issue is that you understand the social cues too much. You've been reading people, you've been watching people, you've been studying people for so long to the point where you can pick up on a slight shift in somebody's emotional state. Isn't that funny? You can miss social cues, but somehow you can still pick up on a slight shift in somebody's emotional state. So if you're at a dinner and everybody's laughing, people are having a good time, but there's this one guy in the corner. He was invited to the same function and he's kind of closed off. He's by himself in the corner and he's not talking a lot. You can tell that something is going on. Like you feel something for him and you want to find your way to include that person in the conversation because you can tell that something is going on. That person is feeling some type of pain. So just because they say typically that autistic individuals miss social cues, that's not always the case. Sometimes you are too aware of social cues and you're aware of the fact that you're either not connecting with people or you are connecting with people. And the oversharing thing is something that when you do this with other neurodivergents, I find it to not be that bad, right? Now, I still say that until you feel very comfortable with certain people around you, remain somewhat of a mystery, all right? Remain somewhat of a mystery. And this can be hard in 2025. If you go out on a date with somebody, chances are, if you've Instagram stalked them, you know about their little brother playing soccer, you know about what their parents do. We know a lot of things before we meet people. However, you still want to keep a couple of things to yourself. You want to remain a mystery in some capacity. You feel me? Now, when you're in a circle of neurodivergents, fellow neurodivergents that you trust, and you've developed a rapport with them, okay, now we can peel back some of the layers. So we can share a little bit more about ourselves. But when you go full throttle and you share so much about yourself, you can get to a point where you don't ever want to see those people again because you're ashamed that you told them so much. They know so much about you, and you're like, damn, like I feel like I'm naked. Like they should know all this about me. Like, how do they know so much about me? But that was you. Last week, Wednesday, you told them everything about you. You had the chance to remain mysterious and you didn't. And on the drive home, you kicked yourself because you're like, damn, like that girl will never call me back. those guys will never want to be my friend. And that's not the case always. But you just felt comfortable. In the world where you don't always feel comfortable, you felt the connection and you decided to share part of yourself with somebody else. And you can't blame yourself for that. But we don't live in a fair world. And sometimes this world can be cruel. So, like I say, just take your time and peel back the layers slowly but surely. All right. So, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Sarah says, oversharing. LOL, the story of my life. Yeah, this is something that a lot of us do. And when we overshare, it feels good in the moment. Afterwards, you don't feel too good, do it? It doesn't feel too good. I'm looking on TikTok. Lavita says rejection sensitivity after. Yeah, sometimes you're embarrassed about what you said. And is that Raquel on TikTok says, what about telling people about past stories? So depending on who the person is, there's nothing wrong with this. You just want to make sure that you're in a safe space. I would say that my community online is a safe space, but even then, you don't know everybody on here. These people are complete strangers to you. Of course, if you keep coming back to the live stream, you become acclimated with Sarah Bryant, and you become acclimated with Ashley Barley and Ashley Y and Kitty. Before you know it, these people become your friends. But in the beginning, you don't know who these people are. So we want to take it step by step. Step by step. Lavia says we're all comfortable here. Good, 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 good. Oof. That's me, but then the next day I don't want to talk to anyone. Yeah, look, sometimes we have the social battery to interact with people, and other days we're like, man, I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing. And Jam Mom says, that's me. My husband has to tell me this stuff. You have to rein it in with the oversharing. You have to rein it in because you just never know. In the beginning, obviously, but you just never know what the environment is like, who was there, who's watching you, and if you have a fear or a dislike for being perceived, the oversharing wouldn't help with that. And the email to request me as a speaker, that should be in my bio. Miss Cat. So yeah, guys, I still am on Twitch, but I haven't gone live on Twitch in quite some time, so I need to do that. I need to opt out of my monetization on Twitch so I can add Twitch to these live streams because, I mean, forget that money. I need my Twitchers, if that's a word, to be in these live streams. My Twitchers. And Miss Cake on TikTok. Now, cake can mean a lot of different things. But Miss Cake on TikTok says, all the neurospicy people are welcome to friend me. So if you're neurospicy and you're looking for friends, Miss Cake on TikTok has opened up the online doors. By hearing and hearing by, how are you? Good to see you. And Peter says, if you're live streaming on YouTube, why are you not using the live chat here? Peter, that's a really good question. In order to utilize the live streaming button on YouTube, I think I have to go live specifically on YouTube. I've tried that once or twice, but I plan to be live so much more in 2026. So I'm gonna have to fiddle with that and play with it. This is the best way to get all of my boys and girls on the live stream, on the different platforms on the live stream. But I will flirt with the YouTube only live stream. Don't worry about that. Ashley says, I need friends that can relate. That's why I be in here. Well, and Ashley says, tell her I'm about to go find her. Go look for her. Her name is Miss Cake on TikTok. Her name is Miss Cake on TikTok. What does cake mean? Guys, y'all know what cake means. It's something delicious that we eat on birthdays. What else could cake mean? What else could cake mean? All right. Okay, all right. So I got the second sign that you should be screened for ADHD and autism. This one right here. This could be my favorite one because this just highlights the contradiction of having ADHD and autism. And I am looking on YouTube. I am. I'm looking everywhere. I look everywhere. All right, guys. The second sign that you should be screening for ADHD and autism. We're going to be looking at your routines here. Your routines. If you're somebody who needs structure and the predictability, but you hate routines or you hate doing the same thing over and over for too long, come on up. You get bored the moment things become too repetitive. Come on up. You might need a neurodivergent jersey. It may be time for an ADHD and autism assessment. You need structure and you like the predictability. So you create routines, but the same routines that you create, you get bored of. And after a while, you bail on it in hopes that you'll find a brand new routine. But you like the creation of a routine, but not really the follow through with it. Like you want to create a routine and you do create a routine and you use it for about a week or so and then life feels great. And then you abandon the very routine that you need, the very routine that regulates you, that makes you feel a lot better. Because what do we know about losing routines? This is a quick way to go to depression. The very routine that you create, that's been helping you regulate your mood and your attention and your focus and your well-being. You abandon it when things get too boring. How does that work? You spent all weekend coming up with this master routine. You say, I'm going to fix my life this weekend. I'm fixing my life this weekend. I'm taking the trash out. I'm cleaning the house. I'm cleaning the kitchen. I'm walking the dog. I'm signing up for school. I'm fixing my life this weekend. And then Monday rolls around. Maybe you fall through the routine and it feels good because you fall through on the thing that you started. Then Tuesday rolls around. Okay, I feel great. This routine is amazing. Wednesday rolls around. Oh, this is awesome. You get to Friday and you look at the week that you had. Wow, I fixed my life. This is amazing. I have a routine and I feel regulated. All I have to do now is just follow this routine. But after you have that realization, now you're like, nah, I need a new routine. Let me tear this up and start from scratch because I don't like this. And you have no reason to stop the routine other than you're bored. You're just bored. And that more than likely is the ADHD part. You're just bored. You know that you need the routine, but it's boring. Waking up every day and doing the same thing. Like, there's got to be more to life than waking up every day and doing the same thing. But that's the autism part. They're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's a great autistic advantage. Your ability to do things over and over and over and over. And I'm not even sure if this is being done intentionally, but you like the predictability. You like the routine and you hate to deviate away from it. But you got ADHD too, so you want some excitement. You just want excitement that you can control, excitement that you can somewhat anticipate. And we can't anticipate every novel thing in our lives, but you want some type of control over this excitement. It makes for an interesting paradox because the moment you bail and you break away from your routine, you normally figure out very shortly after that, maybe it might not be shortly, but at some point you realize that the routine that you had it for a reason. You realize that. But doing the same thing every day is so boring. I don't want to do the same thing every day. I want to have fun. I want to live my best life. I want to, be supersonic, hypnotic, funky, fresh, and I want to just have fun. I don't want to do what I'm supposed to do. But the breakthrough lies in doing what you're supposed to do or not doing what you're not supposed to do. We don't talk about that enough because sometimes as a part of your routine, you said, okay, I am not going to go to the dispensary on a Friday. I'm not going to treat myself after a long week. I'm not going to the dispo. I'm not because when I go to the dispo, I get too many of those gummies and then I'm high as a kite all weekend and I'm not getting anything done. So sometimes having a routine is not just doing things that you're supposed to do. It's avoiding the things that you know that you shouldn't be doing. but you want some excitement. You want life to be, you want to treat yourself. And depending on what you have going on and what you want to do, may not be the worst thing in the world. But if you know that the goals you have require you to do a certain couple of things, if you don't do those things, you won't get to your goal. And we can't blame ADHD and autism for not doing the things that we need to do in order to get to where we want to be. But it does present an interesting challenge. It is a bit harder for us to get to our goals, knowing that we have this paradox. We have the ADHD, then we have the autism. And then with the neurodivergence in general, just by being neurodivergent, it's going to take you a longer time to transition between tasks. I know this to be so true for me. And that's why whenever I travel, the number one thing that I have to do is I have to get in the house and say, all right, Kojo, open up your bag, set up your recording tools, because you have to make videos and you have to go live. And the way I stream like this with this setup is on my iMac. I have a different setup when I go live with the iRoll book bag. But whenever I travel, I hate unpacking. So I like to leave my stuff there. Then when it's time to go live, guys, I think it took me like an hour and a half to start this live stream. I kid you not, an hour and a half to start this live stream. I know better. What time is it right now? It's 9:44 p.m. on the West Coast, meaning that if you're in Tennessee, and a couple of our folks are watching from Tennessee, it's 11:44. If you're in New York City, Atlanta, it's already tomorrow, 1:44. I wanted to stream earlier, but I wasn't set up to stream earlier. I know the brain that I have. I know I have this neurodivergent brain. So I rig my environment to make sure that I can get things done. From everything from the assistants to having the cleaner. The cleaner this time, she forgot to fold my clothes. And it put me into what some people like to call a tizzy. I'm like, damn, she didn't fold the clothes. Now I gotta fold the clothes. Folding the clothes is so hard for me. I tried. I got like 2 or 3 things folded, and then I put all the other stuff in the other room. And when I live stream from the living room, I'm gonna take all those clothes and put them right here. And when I live stream from here, I'm gonna take all those clothes and put them back into the living room. And on the weekend, I'll fold it while watching some football. We'll get to it some way, somehow, eventually. But you have to set yourself up for success. So if you have this neurodivergent brain, if you have ADHD and or autism, because you can have both. If you have both and you know that you hate following the same routine over and over and over, but you need routines, what you have to do then is create a routine that allows for some fun. You have to have some fun somewhere in your schedule. If what you're doing is not fun and you're neurodivergent, you won't do it for very long. I promise you. And if you don't believe me, you can try it. If what you're doing is not fun as a neurodivergent, you will bail on it. It's already hard enough to do the things that we don't want to do, right? Now, the things that we do want to do that require a little bit of work, we'll do it, right? We'll do it. We'll get it done. But you might not want to do it. But luckily, if you enjoy that thing, it makes it that much easier to do it. I hate writing. I like journaling. I think it's cathartic to put the pen to the paper, but I hate writing. But I love stand-up comedy. Whenever I write before I do a show, the shows are always amazing. I have great engagement with the crowd. I post the clips on Instagram and then TikTok or wherever, and the clips get millions of views. I'm like, oh, wow, like we're getting millions of views. We're selling tickets. I should do this more often. But then in order to do that more often, I have to write. And there's no substitute for writing. You have to write. I love Jerry Seinfeld's advice. He said, understand that you are mediocre and lock yourself in a room and write for an hour. That's the key. But it's not fun. And sometimes, we want to have fun. There's a song that is called Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I think by Cyndi Lauper. I could be wrong. But that song needs to have a remix called Neurodivergence Just Want to Have Fun. Because that's what we want to do. We just want to have fun. Adult neurodivergents just want to have fun. Kid neurodivergents, we just want to have fun. I wish life allowed for us to have fun all the time. It doesn't. But anytime you can make something fun, you're winning. And this is why I always say, do what you have to do for a living as a neurodivergent. If you're an accountant, do that. If you work at the power plant, do that. If you work as a doctor, do that. Whatever you do for a living, do that. But do not neglect the thing that your soul really craves. If you love knitting, find some time to knit. If you love playing pickup basketball, find some time to do that. If you don't include fun in your routine, you will tear down the routine. And it could have been a really good routine, but you tore it down because you just want some fun. Just want some fun. And Kitty Lee says, Cindy, okay, all right, perfect. And Ashley said something about the next live stream. The next live stream, what's day? Tuesday? Next live stream, let's make it tomorrow. Let's see how many days in a row we can live stream. It's normally Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 West Coast time. Today we started at like close to 9 o'clock West Coast time, but we aim for 6:30 West Coast time, 6 or 6:30. But we'll stream every day this week because I don't have to travel this weekend. I don't think I have to travel this weekend. So let's get a streak going. So that's another thing that I like to do. I like to capitalize. I think I've traveled the past 5 or 6 weekends. It gets hard on the body, you know. Daddy's getting older, so I can't be traveling like this, but I got to go from place to place, and the holidays are here. So I just got to travel, but I'll do my best to travel light whenever the next trip is. But I get to stay put this weekend, I think. I might get impulsive and travel again this weekend. Who knows? Brett. Oh, been 6 years for you? Wow. Glad to see you back. Please like the videos. Okay, awesome. More lives is like dessert. I appreciate that. Thank you. More dopamine. I enjoy nursing, but hate the stress of school, so I get it. I'm reading these comments on TikTok. Gabrielle says, I have 2 big final exams tomorrow for nursing school. I'm fixing my stomach because I can't sleep. Well, Gabrielle, I appreciate your attention, but nursing school ain't no joke. You probably are better off hopping off of this live stream and make sure you have enough rest for your nursing exams. We don't want you to fail. So all these live streams can be watched after the fact on YouTube and on Facebook. Molly says, do you have ADHD or autism or both? Well, my community says both, but only formally diagnosed with ADHD. So who knows? Y'all are normally right. I thought you were gonna recommend methylfolate. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I might get impulsive and end up in another state. The title of your video doesn't make sense. What's the title on? There should be 3 signs. Oh my God! Oh, Charles. Charles, thank you. I didn't see that. I had the typo on there. It should say 3 signs. Guys, how did I get 38 minutes into this live stream without recognizing that typo? It should say 3 signs you should be screened for autism ADHD. Instead, it said 3 signs you be screened for autism and ADHD. Mickey, 50, Charles. Oh my God. 3 signs I'm gonna change it right now. 3 signs you should. Wow. How did I get so far into this live stream? All right. We edited it on. Or we're editing it on all the platforms right now. StreamYard is putting a couple of extra things into the description. I don't want that. Get that out of there. 3 signs you be screened. Oh my gosh, guys. Man, caught me slipping. Shout out to Charles for correcting that. Not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. But we're fixing it right now. Once I see a typo, I get fixated on it. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Let's fix it. There we go. And we're gonna save the changes. Love the show goes to Charles. LinkedIn doesn't support updating streams. Well, LinkedIn, fix it. Okay. All right, so it's updated everywhere except for LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Kitty, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Candace, good to see you. Oh, Candace, you've been following since the beginning. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You're doing too many streams at once. Oh, that's the wrong thing to tell me because now I'm going to add more streams. If you ever want a neurodivergent to do anything, tell them that they shouldn't be doing it. That's that demand avoidance. How do you deal with having to rest and not overdoing it? Well, Sarah, if you don't rest, the body will make you rest. The body will force you to rest if you don't rest. You got to get some rest. All right, looking through some of the TikTok comments. Bunny, thank you very much. Please pass the message over to LinkedIn. Please do. My vocal stems. I've been stemming all day to Odumodu Black. He's a Afrobeats artist. So I've been stemming all day to that. What type of doctor are you? A doctor of nursing practice degree with a specialty in psychiatry and mental health. So a little bit of therapy, a lot of medication management, but also therapy too, because it's not all about meds. You feel me? I run my hands through my hair constantly. Is that stimming? It could be. It could be. Or it could be you trying to flirt with somebody. You see a little thing in the corner you want to flirt with, you know? All right, guys. So to recap, 3 signs that you should be screened for autism and ADHD. We finally fixed the title. Thank you, Lord. Number 1, socially, you miss cues and take things literally. But sometimes you overshare and you do catch on the social cues and you're the life of the party. Number 2, we're talking about routines here. You need structure and predictability. However, when you do the same thing over and over for too long, you get bored and you feel like bailing on the plan that you spend so much time creating. And number 3, this is the one that we haven't talked about yet. Number 3, this one is hilarious, all right? Number 3, you get overwhelmed by loud and chaotic environments. But some way, somehow, you tend to create environments for yourself that happen to be loud and chaotic. This looks like the person who goes to a party, a kickback, a gathering, a wedding, some type of social event. You go, and after 10 or 15 minutes, you got to get out of there because it's too loud and it's not gonna be a thing. You gotta go home. I can't do it anymore. So after 15 or 20 minutes, you leave. So you went to this big gathering, maybe a wedding. It's embarrassing to leave a wedding 15 minutes into a reception at least, right? People don't normally do that. But you went, 15 minutes passed, and you're like, all right, I gotta go. And I drove, so I'm getting out of here. So you leave this big overstimulated environment and you hop back into your car. And on the way home, you play your music and you blast it at the loudest possible volume. How does it make any sense? You left the party because it was too loud and chaotic, but then you hop into your car and then you created an environment that's loud and chaotic. How does it make any sense? That's that contradiction of ADHD and autism. And part of this, I believe, has to do with control. When you're at the wedding reception, you can't control what they're playing. They might be playing music you don't like. All you know is that it's pretty loud. And sometimes they could be playing your very favorite artist and maybe some of your favorite songs. But it's just too loud. People are watching you. You can't stim in peace. You can't, dance, jig, or twerk, whatever you do. You just can't do it because people are watching you. But when you go back into your car, now you're in a controlled environment where You can let your hair down. You can fart if you want to. You can sing at the top of your lungs. Nobody's watching you. You want the loud and chaotic environment, but you want it on your own terms. Otherwise, you're bothered. And us neurodivergents, we have sensory sensitivities. We need things to be a certain type of way. And people who don't understand it will think that you're high maintenance or you're difficult. And or both. You're a picky person, picky eater, picky with your textures, picky with your environments that you like to be in, but you'll go back into your car and you'll blast the music at max volume. If this is you, come on up, grab a neurodivergent jersey. Let us know what number you are and wear it proudly. Sylvia, come on up. Come on up, Sylvia. Come on up. Shelly, come on up. 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 If that's you, come on up. Sasha on TikTok. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Miss Drea on TikTok. Come on up. Come on up. Madison. Come on up, Madison. Come on. Come on. Come on. Regulatory medical writer, nap lover, Project Pat. Come on up. Come on up. And Ms. Reyes says, it's my own noise, though. Makes complete sense. No, it makes sense to me, too. Bunny, I try to leave before I end up in the corner, rocking back and forth. Come on up, Bunny. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Pierce, I don't do social functions, yet I'm also very sociable. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Beautiful. Tanja. Am I saying that correctly? Tanja on TikTok. Come on up. Come on up. Leslie says, hot diggity dog, all three. Leslie, come on up. 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 Can I run for president? No, I wasn't born in this country. Maybe governor of California, but politics exhaust me. So I'm good on politics. Sarah says, anyone else immediately go into the safety dance song, but instead you can argue it. No, guys, you're not going to tell me that when you get into your car and nobody's there and you have a long ride and you can blow the AC that you don't let one rip. We all do this, guys. We all do this. Just make sure that you can trust that fart and it's not more than that. Because if it's more than that, then we better be going home. You're not making any other stops. You got to look back and see if you done, wet yourself. Jared on TikTok says, my wife and I had to leave a concert early because I was shaking and unable to calm down. This happens. This happens. And this is something that a lot of couples struggle with. Because when Jared and his wife went to this concert, I know that Jared did not want to leave early. It's date night. Jared and his wife have put this mark on the calendar. All right, Friday night, we're going out. We're going to go see Rascal Flatts or Creed or NBA Youngboy, whoever it is. And we're going to have a great time. But Jared goes and is too loud. And Jared's wife really wanted to stay, but now they left. This can lead to arguments and fights and misunderstandings. But when you have a partner who understands that your social battery can die quickly and they're okay with leaving a concert, it means everything. And then for the next concert, the next time this band comes to your city, you can still go, but now you're a bit more prepared. Are we going to take the earplugs with us? Are we going to take the over-the-ear headphones? What can we take to make this environment more enjoyable? We may have to create an environment within that environment to where we're not as overstimulated, because when you're overstimulated, nothing makes sense. Nothing, like, you just got to get out of there. The cure to feeling better is getting out of there. Jared, respect. Respect to Jared and his wife. Respect. Looking through some of the comments. Sasha says, hubby don't get it. I call it introverted extrovert. That sometimes is a label for people who should have that ADHD and autism diagnosis. The introverted extrovert. And I never understood that growing up. People would say, oh, I'm an introverted extrovert. I'm like, what do you mean? And to me, that means that you want to socialize, but you like to do it on your own terms. The introverted extrovert. Mm. And I like what Sarah's saying here. Being with the right person makes life more. Guys, I say this all the time. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You get to pick the person that you're with. So if you're in a relationship and you are suffering and you're not having fun, life is already hard. Don't make it harder. You pick the person that you're with. So if your relationship is difficult and the person doesn't get you and you're frustrated all the time, you picked them. You did it. If you're having fun and you feel supported in your relationship, you picked them. You did it to yourself. Congratulations. And that's a good thing. But sometimes you can be in the right environment, but because you're with the wrong person, you're overstimulated. You could be at the right place. You're at the NBA YoungBoy concert. You're in downtown LA, downtown Nashville, Austin, Seattle, San Francisco. You're at the concert that you waited months to be at. But because you're not with the right person, it's just not going to work. The right person may have prepared in advance. They brought those earplugs. Or they know that you're at this Seattle Seahawks game, but at Lumen Field, there's a sensory room. So they knew that you were going to get overstimulated. And they prepared in advance. They did the research. So now you're at the Seahawks game, and it's getting a little too loud. The 12th man is doing his thing. But you can take a break during halftime and go to the sensory room. And they actually have one at Lumen Field in Seattle. I haven't been to Lumen Field, but I've heard about it. And I would love to do a skit there. We may have to bring the team to Seattle and do a skit at Lumen Field and see what that sensory room looks like. Because I'm very interested in seeing what makes a sensory room different from like a regular room, and why did the Seahawks decide to do that at their stadium? And hopefully the Titans do it at their new stadium in Nashville, the one that they're building. That'd be pretty cool. I need to reach out to them. And Quinn on TikTok says, I didn't realize until after I made a decision to get out of a relationship that I was overstimulated. Yeah, guys, sometimes it might not be overstimulation, or it could be, but you're not with the right person. I hate to say it. You might be with the wrong person. And Sarah says, my wife is who has pushed me to get tested. She saw the downfall. Sarah, shout out to your wife. It really helps when you have somebody who watches you. And normally, guys, if you're with somebody that is attentive and they know your habits, they probably will see that you have ADHD and or autism before the doctor does. The doctor spends 1 hour with you per evaluation, per appointment. Depending on what y'all talk about, the doctor can miss that you have ADHD and or autism. But the person that you live with, or if you're dating them and you're not living with them, the person that you date, they could have a better idea. They could have a better idea. What did Lauren say? The comments coming fast, so. Lauren says, why do I get along better with neurodivergent people? Well, neurodivergent folks tend to roll in packs. And this is because when you're neurodivergent, you experience the world differently and you communicate differently. So if you get along better with neurodivergent people, and a lot of your friends are neurodivergent, Lauren, I got some news for you. You also might be on the team. You could be on the team. Oh, you have ADHD. Okay, there we go. All right, so I didn't diagnose you. Cool. Well, you have the formal diagnosis. You got it. And in Germany, it's pretty usual to take the partners and parents view into account. No, Flumi, that's how it is in the United States as well. Even if you're an adult, if you're going in for an assessment, it's helpful to have your parents there. I mean, if you're, a teen or so, or even as a young adult, if you're 21 years old and your parent is at the appointment, that's going to help us out because they raise you. They know what life was like for you when you're 4 years old, or when you got overstimulated and you were overwhelmed in second grade and you would throw tantrums. All that information is very key when it comes to making a diagnosis. And also, if you have your partner, like I've been in appointments where people have brought their partners and they brought their friends or the person that they have been dating for just 3 weeks. And that person's information will be helpful when it comes to making a diagnosis. I'm not going to take that person's word as, like everything, but every bit of information that we can get is helpful, because ADHD and autism can look like a lot of different things. I mean, somebody could have undiagnosed bipolar, and you might see these videos and think that you have ADHD and or autism. Now you could have all three, who knows? But when we have more information to look through, we can make a more accurate diagnosis. Lauren says, I was a woman with a 4.0 in high school, college, and I didn't get diagnosed until 34 with ADHD. And Lauren says, ADHD is my superpower. I can hyperfocus. Well, Lauren, I'm happy you were able to reframe things, and I'm happy you got the diagnosis. A lot of women have to wait years and years and years and years to get a diagnosis. It's quite ridiculous, but that's the world that we live in. The oldest person I diagnosed with ADHD, I think she was 68 years old. 68. Think about that. 68 years old. Think about everything that happens in 68 years of life. That's 7 decades. And she was very successful. She'd been married for over 30, 40 years. And what happens with women is that even if you don't have the official diagnosis, you'll find a way to compensate for it. You'll find a workaround, and you'll do well. But you can argue that you could have done better with the diagnosis. But I find women to be very, adept at finding ways to compensate and to make it through. Obviously, if you can get a diagnosis, the sooner the better. But so many people who are diagnosed later in life find workarounds. Like I was diagnosed when I was 25, 26, but I found different ways to deal with my ADHD, from having the time in my car be 30 minutes ahead of the actual time, and having all my clocks in the house be 30 minutes ahead, so that way I would get to places on time. I found different workarounds. I learned that, okay, if I'm dating somebody new, it's best to see them once a week, because if you see them all the time, you'll love bomb each other, and then everything be great for 3, 4, maybe 6 weeks. And after that, things come crashing down. And it's not that you like them any less, but you're coming back to yourself. You're like, oh, I need some space. Like, I love this person, but man, I need some space. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. You don't love them any less. It's just that now, you gotta come back to yourself. Oh, great question right here by Kayla. Any tips for someone who clings onto their routines for dear life, especially around the chaos of holidays? Communication. So it's helpful to let family know ahead of time. Let your family know ahead of time what you will and won't do. This can look like you calling your mom and saying, hey, mom, bring everybody over for Christmas. We'll host it. It's fine. But just know that I'm going to bed at 9:30 and I'm putting the kids to sleep at 8:30. Y'all can be downstairs, but don't be too loud. But I'm going to bed at 9:30. Don't expect me to stay up all night with y'all and watch Lifetime holiday movies. I'm going to bed at 9:30. And then if you know that you have some flexibility in your routine and you want to spend some more time with your people, you'll say, okay, I'm not sacrificing my sleep, but that third walk that I do with my dog around 3 or 4 p.m., we'll skip the 2.5 mile walk, and I'll spend that time with family that has come into town from Oklahoma that we haven't seen all year. But I'm not sacrificing my sleep. So it's helpful to write down what you will and won't compromise on, and stick by it. Because family gets into town and you could be up to 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and you're trying to maximize time with family, but I have to go into work at 9 o'clock. Once you hit 30, 35, you know that you can't sacrifice sleep. Like, guys, we're getting older now. I'm unk. If I go without too much sleep, I'm cooked. When I was younger, I could go for 3-4 hours of sleep. That's how I got through school. But now, if I don't get a full night's worth of sleep, man, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. I'm cooked. Lawrence says, I write stuff down. I'm not a morning person. Actually, no. I have a question for y'all. A real deal question. Is anybody in here a morning person? I think I already know the answer. Drop a 1 in the chat if you are a morning person. Whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, I can get those comments on the screen. TikTok, so drop it on there. I can see it. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're a morning person. Drop a 2 if you're a night person. So I'm going to go ahead and play this game too. I'm a night person. I ain't going to lie. I'm a night person. And we're up right now at a pretty late time. So I'm assuming most of y'all are night people. But I just want to see something. Two. 2. Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. Everybody, night person. On TikTok, Sarfi 2, Comfy 2, Beautiful Eyes 2, Amber B 2, Lace Caramel 2, 711 2, The Hopeful Minimalist 2, Sasha Sells 2, Beautiful 2, Vanessa 2, Bowlerdina. We have one morning person. Brandon says 2. Rita's 1. Okay, wow. Okay, Anna 2, Chaz 2, Thumper 2, Bunny 2, Lauren 2. I've counted about 2 1s and about 30 night people. Insomnia, and I think better at night. Night owl. I have a positive personality shift at night for some reason. And guys, this is where knowing your brain is very helpful. Why are we so grumpy in the morning? Lauren, there's a million different reasons why we're grumpy in the morning. Because first of all, getting up out of bed is hard with ADHD. It's extremely difficult because you probably slept late. So if you didn't have time to gather your bearings, you could be a very irritable person. Blake says, my mind works better at night. Stealth mode 2. As long as everybody's asleep. Yeah, this is where it's helpful to know your brain. I'm somebody who I always work better at night. If given the opportunity, I will stay up till 2 or 3 and wake up at 10. Even though it doesn't feel too good to wake up at 10, but my mind works better at night. Either late at night or I got to get up early, around 4 or 5 a.m. before people are texting you, before life is happening. That way I can just sit down by myself and do nothing and meditate. Meditation. I've been talking about meditation for a while. We may have to have some streams where we just get on here and we meditate. I get on here and I just look at the wall for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. If we did a group meditation session, a lot of answers that we're looking for would come to us. But how can we meditate when we're running from one thing to the next and to the next and to the next? We're overstimulated. We're busy. We're tired. So that's probably one of the reasons why at night we can just take some time to ourselves and relax and just take a deep breath. So it's not shocking that we're all night people over here. Logan, no problem. And Lauren says, I changed my schedule for my private practice. If you are neurodivergent, one of the best things that you can do, one of the best things that can ever happen to you is finding a job or a career, either one, but finding work that allows you to not have to come into work so early. You're blessed as a neurodivergent if you can control your work schedule, but more specifically, those morning hours. Those morning hours. This is why a lot of neurodivergents struggle in grade school. You may have to wake up at 5, catch the bus by 6, get to school at 7. Very rough for even adults to do. Very difficult. Now, if you have a job where you can get in at 9:30 or 10, as opposed to getting in at 7, oh my goodness. Those extra 2 or 3 hours, it means the world. It means the world to you. And now, don't get me wrong, you can still show up late, even though you gotta get there by 10. Because we think we're invincible. We feel like we have more time than we actually have. But if you can get those extra 2 to 3 hours in the morning, you're gonna be a more pleasant person. You're gonna be friendlier to your coworkers. You might even go into the office and overshare. You're gonna be nice to your partner. You're gonna wake up in the morning and ask if your partner wants donuts. You're like, hey, you want me to go put gas in the car? You're a whole different person. But without that extra time, you can be irritable, you can be moody, and sometimes, you can be a mean person. Be a mean person. I agree with Ashley. Yeah. When everyone's asleep, you can relax because there's less obligations. You can get that late at night, but you can also get it early in the morning. And TY Beautiful Eyes on TikTok says, Ashley, I'm not nice. Hey, look, there's a lot of growth in the comments. Sometimes we know that we're not nice people. And if that's the case, it's helpful to acknowledge that and say, all right, okay, I ain't a nice person in the morning, but I'm going to work to be better. Barry, Daddy, RN. What's up? What's up? Thank you for being back on the stream. Yeah, I do refer some patients to get tested for sleep apnea. A lot of different things can make it hard for you to sleep at night, not just ADHD and autism. However, my mentor told me that, and he's been practicing psychiatry for longer than I've been alive. He told me that 90 to 95% of his autistic patients all struggle with sleep and insomnia. So it does tend to be a neurodivergent thing, but you can be bipolar or have schizophrenia and struggle to shut your brain off at night. So a lot of things can make you a night person. Somebody says, I have night terrors. Okay. Just me. We offer coaching services to everyone worldwide, actually. And Danny says, these are my morning hours. I always wake up way too early. Well, Danny is pretty late right now. Pretty late right now. Oh, Lorena, you're not alone here. You are not alone here. This is the right environment to be in if you're neurodivergent. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I get to work by 1 p.m. I love it. Guys, I'll take y'all back to 2015. So 10 years ago. Guys, I've been working in and out of the psychiatric hospital for a decade now. That's pretty cool. I've been at the psych hospital for 10 years. So it's my 10-year anniversary of being at the psych hospital. But when I first started working as an RN at the psych hospital, I tried my best to get fired. All right. I was on the morning shift. That's 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So not only do I have to sleep early, I have to get to the hospital and clock in by 7:07. Then when I clock in, I go into the unit. The patients are smearing feces on the wall. Some people are spitting on other people. They're fighting. I'm like, oh my goodness, I did not know that mental health would be like this. I got to get out of here. I tried to give one woman an IM shot, like in her butt. Like that's how we get these shots. And then she looked back and she was like, get from behind me, Satan. Get from behind me, Satan. I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to quit this job. Oh, like the psych hospital is the worst place to work at. I tried my best to get fired. And if we're keeping it in the buck, because here we can be honest. If we're keeping it in the buck, not only did I try to get fired, but I started another RN job at another hospital in Augusta, Georgia. So if they fired me, like it's one thing to get fired when you're not expecting it. But when you have another job, I'm like, fire me. Like, You want to fire me? Fire me. I got another job. I didn't tell them that, but I was like, fire me. I got backup. But they were so short at the psych hospital that the manager called me and said, Safro, that's what they called me, Safro. No, Safro. She said, Safro, we should have fired you by now, but I'm going to just keep it real with you. We're too short and we need you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you from first shift and put you on second shift. And that was the best thing. That was one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life, because I got to go from day shift to evening shift. Now I get to work by 3 p.m. Oh my goodness, I can stay up at night and I can play Madden. I can play NCAA. I can scroll on Vine. Back then it was Vine. I can scroll on Vine. I can watch funny videos. I can text the girl that I was in love with at that time, that we won't talk about that right now. But I can do all these different things and sleep at 4 a.m. if I want to and still get to work on time. And me being switched from day shift to evening shift, it saved my career, because once I got an evening shift, I went into work with sleep. Like, I had enough sleep, and then I got to talk to the patients, and I realized that, oh my goodness, there's a lot of normal people at the psychiatric hospital. You would think that, oh, if you go to a psych hospital, like, you must have lost your mind. No, people in there were dealing with grief. Some people were dealing with depression. Some people had smoked too much and they were dealing with the first episode of psychosis. And, we would give them the medications, give them olanzapine for a week, and then they feel better and they go back home. I'm like, oh my goodness, working at the psych hospital is not that bad. This is great. I love it. I would go outside. I'll play basketball with the patients in the courtyard. And like, that's how I'll get my information. I didn't sit them down and say, oh, tell me your life story. Tell me why you're taking Haldol, Depakote, and lithium. No, we would play basketball, a game of 21, and then we would shoot, and I would connect with the patients. And that's when I realized that I have a passion for this and that I'm good at this. But if they would have kept me on day shift, I would have lost my job. I would have been fired, because for whatever reason, I mean, it's the ADHD and maybe the autism, but I could not get to work and clock in by 7:07. But when they switched it to 3 p.m., now sometimes I was still late. I was still late. But when they switched it to 3 p.m., I'm like, oh my goodness, I can focus. I can think. And then once I started my ADHD medications, it was over for everybody, because now I can actually focus. I can really focus, and now I got sleep. Now I'm feeling a lot better. 6-7, right? So if you're neurodivergent and you get to go to work later than normal, oh yeah, it can be a big game changer. Yeah, look, a lot of what I talk about online, I learned at the psych hospital. So people will DM me and say, "Oh, Dr. Kojo, the way you described bipolar 2 or autism in that video, it was so accurate. Like, how do you know all this?" Well, if you spend 10 years at the psych hospital, you'll learn some of these things. I think everybody who works in psychiatry as a provider should work in the inpatient psych hospital at least for 6 months. I can tell, like, people will DM me and say, "Oh, I'm taking this. My doctor did this and that for me." I can tell what provider has been in the psych hospital based off of how they prescribe, how they talk to people. If you spend a lot of time in the psych hospital, you really get to understand human life and humans. And I mean, to this day, I can't think of a more formative experience for me than being at the psych hospital. And if I wasn't able to work on second shift, honestly, if they never moved me to second shift, I don't know if we would have had Dr. Kojo. I don't know. Because I wouldn't have gone back for my doctorate. I wouldn't have pursued a career in this, because my introduction to psych was, oh, you go to the psych hospital, people are, they might smear their poop on you. But once I got to be on second shift, I realized, oh, this is what psychosis looks like. Oh, they don't mean to do this. Oh, okay. We can just give them Haldol. Oh, okay. Oh, they're dealing with grief. Oh, they're dealing with heartbreak. Guys, heartbreak can send you to the psych hospital. So people think that love is just like, oh yeah, I meant to. No, heartbreak can send you to the psych hospital. It can cause a manic episode. So you really get to understand humans and and you're just so much more grateful when you've been at the psych hospital. So I'm 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 very happy that I was able to have that experience. Very, very, very helpful for me. Let me see. Lorena, my boyfriend broke up with me. The only reason I wake up is to get to go to work. Autism. Well, the person that you find after this current boyfriend will be better for you. Don't worry. Sometimes you can win by taking a loss or what is a perceived loss. Milena says, "Meanwhile, I'll be back tomorrow either as an RN or a patient." Working at the psych hospital taught me one thing. It taught me that if I ever had an episode of psychosis and I needed help, I wasn't going to be at that hospital. Only because, I mean, I knew everybody at the hospital, from the administrator to all the RNs to all the nurse practitioners to all the doctors. I knew everybody at the hospital. So I'm like, all right, if I ever if I lose everything and I end up at the psych hospital, I'm not going to be at this one because I'm not going to have y'all asking me about my bowel movements, And also, my crush at that time was a nurse on the other unit. So I'm like, all right, I can't have my crush be asking me about my bowel movements. And, I can't have my crush crushing up my pills and trying to feed me, lithium. Like, I got to go to a different psych hospital where I can get help, privately. You feel me? You feel me? I worked 4 years at a youth inpatient psych facility. Is my favorite job. JW, you know what I'm talking about? I mean, I could start a series called Lessons from the Psych Hospital. Maybe I should, but and I really enjoyed taking the nursing students to the psych hospital on the rotations. At Augusta University, I would take a group of 8 nursing students to the psych hospital. And what I would do is I'm neurodivergent, so I got an orthodox way of doing everything. So normally when you go to the hospital and you're doing clinicals, you would go in, read the patient's chart, and then you see the patient. But I said, Professor Sarfo, we're going to switch this around. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the psych hospital and we're going to go on the unit first. And you're going to talk to these patients, talk to these people. And then after you talk to them, then we go read their chart. And when we did that, we were able to talk to the patients as human beings. And then the nurse students were like, oh, this person was why are they even in the hospital? They're so cool. They're so laid back. And then you would read their chart. And then you realize, oh, okay, they've been on meds for a while. They're a bit more stable. But if you go straight to the chart, then sometimes you don't see them as a human. Like you look at the chart, all you see is schizoaffective. And all you see is bipolar. All you see is autism. All you see is ADHD and generalized anxiety and depression. You don't really get to see the person for who they are. Because you start to think that, oh, this is a person who has, or this is a person who their diagnosis has them, as opposed to a person who has his diagnosis. So yeah, psych hospital, one of the best experiences of my life. I love it. I love the psych hospital. Loves. And yeah, we have a private practice in a couple of different states, Lauren. Yeah, no, yeah, it opened a lot of people's eyes. Let me see. They never start to. No. So when I first started working at the psych hospital, Kayla, they said, hey, Sarfo, don't work here for too long. If you work here for too long, you end up going crazy just like them. You end up taking medications just like them. And when I got diagnosed with ADHD and I went to pick up my, was it Concerta? I forget what it was. I thought about that. I'm like, damn, like I've been working at the psych hospital for too long because now I'm taking the same medications. But those are also human beings too. Like, why do we think that we're so much better than them? But that's what they say. You work in the psych hospital for too long, you'll end up taking the same meds. And I did. I don't care, but yeah. But some people could have some shame over it. You're not going to shame me. You can't shame somebody who don't care. Beautiful says, broken heart syndrome sent me into psychosis when I lost my daughter. Tanja, sorry for your loss. I'm very sorry for your loss. And yeah, that's difficult to lose a child. I mean, there's few things worse than that. And yeah, like you said, it can send you into psychosis, which is pretty scary if you're not familiar with it. Very, very scary. Oh, you're in California. Oh yeah. I still work in psychiatry. I'm not. I don't know if I'll ever retire. I may have less time to do it, but I don't know if I'll ever retire. I love the game. Now I'm also good at it too. I feel like all my years in the psych hospital has made me pretty good at it. I think I'm pretty damn good. Oh, Hawaii. Oh, wow. Okay. That's what's up. I've never been to Hawaii. I gotta come out there. Addiction expert. Oh yeah. Oh. My vocal stem. Come visit. Oh, Lauren, are you inviting me to? Are you inviting me to Hawaii? Are you gonna fly a brother out? And Jam Mom says, I also lost a child. I have a brother with bipolar 1, son with ADHD. Yeah, look, it's loss is very difficult. Loss is very difficult. Sorry for your loss, Miss Raiderette. I'm not sure what your actual name is. Come visit. You can meet all my partners. Lauren, how many partners do you have? I thought me and my 4 wives was bad, but damn, how many partners you got? Oh yeah, I love the game. I love the game. I mean, like I could be at a comedy show, do my thing, and some like we'll get to riffing and people might talk about like the meds that they're taking. If somebody blurts out the meds that they're taking and I'm at a comedy show, my brain can't help but to be like, well, hold up, why do you need olanzapine and Seroquel? Like my brain can't help, like my spidey senses go off. So like the game is ingrained in me. I love the game. I love the game. And I think I'm really good at it. And it's still a thing that's needed. So I don't think I'll ever retire from it. I do acknowledge the fact that I could get too busy to where I can't, do it as much. But we're gonna keep software psychiatry, the practice going, and probably hire people to take over and maybe put my brain into their brain so that way they can see what I'm talking about. Does it make does it make it difficult for me to meet new friends? Like what? 10 years of being at a psych hospital? Not really. And I guess what I get the most is like I'll go on a first date and the girl will be like, look, what do I have? Like, are you trying to diagnose me? I'm like, no, I'm not trying to diagnose you. I'm trying to like bring it back to my place and like watch NCAA, like watch basketball. Like, what else do people do when they come over to people's places? I'm like, no, I'm not trying to diagnose you. I'm trying to bring you over and pull your pants down, like regular humans do. Type shit, right? Netflix and chill, yeah. Like that'll be people's first thoughts. Like, you're trying to diagnose me. I'm like, no, I'm trying to chill. Oh, you have 2 partners. Okay, Lauren. Okay, respect. And Dragon Scales, what's going on? Yeah, loss is difficult. Yeah, so no, Kayla, for real. Like, that's why I mean, it's at the point now, like, people know what I do from online or whatever. So like it's and people stalk. So I can't be like, oh, I got post online. Like, people know. So but I mean, if you look at the numbers, when you go on a first date with somebody, what's the likelihood that you'll marry them? like, like they're a random person, probably not very high. So if the girl opposite of me is wanting to be diagnosed a little bit more than she wants to date me, that's probably the smarter of the two options. Because if if I diagnose her and I see her as a patient, I can probably change her life much more than I can do as somebody who's dating her. And we have a great 6 weeks or 2 months, and after that, I'm hyper focused on my work again. And it's like, oh, you don't love me anymore? I love you, but I gotta work. I gotta work. This is a great way to start off a date. I'm like, oh yeah, I just got off from the psych hospital. Player? I don't think I'm a player. I'm not a player, but I do love the game. I do love the game. I love the game, Cassie. Cassie's in Michigan. She has a heart. Cassie, you're a player. Mark says, I'm a speech pathologist in the UK and I diagnose autism. Love your content. Mark, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate that. And thank you for what you do. I know my UK boys and girls talk about how hard it is to get mental health help, let alone an autism diagnosis. So thank you for what you do. I can barely survive with one. Oh, no. Shout out to the poly peeps for real. I mean, the thing I do like about the poly community is the idea of compersion, and like not being jealous. I think that we can learn a lot from them when it comes to that. I'll definitely say that. Took you 5 years to marry, and there's nothing wrong with this. And I was talking to a good buddy of mine, and we're just talking about some of our frustrations with dating, and he said, I'm the type of person to talk to a girl for a year before asking her out. And I'm like, oh, me too. Me too. Me too. And he could be on the spectrum as well. We tend to like our space, and like we want, like we like to be left alone, but then we also want, once again, go back to the whole topic of tonight, ADHD and autism. Like we want our space, but we also want connection. And sometimes you just want to take your time. Nobody should rush you. So if it takes you 5 years, great. Some of us take us a year and a half to like become official. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but we're all different. We're all different. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Someone said, what's up with the relationship talk? It's some freaky she. I guess it is. I guess it's a little freaky. Mickey Ficky, there you go. Mickey Ficky. And this is something that we've spoken about this before on live streams, but and this is why our brains are just different. If you can have somebody who's in the same house as you and they're in a room next to you and they're quietly doing their thing and you are quietly doing your thing, guys, there's nothing better. Oh my, there's nothing better. And there's a lot of shame for us as neurodivergents because sometimes we just don't want people touching us and being all up in our personal space. Sometimes you might want to be in your own room and you might want your person to be in their room. And if you're dating off of neurotypical standards, people will make you feel bad. Oh, so you don't like when I come and I spend time with you. I've been working all day. I want to spend some time with you, and now you're brushing me off. No, it's not that. It's I need some space, and I want you to be here with me, maybe even in the same room. But I like to work over here on my laptop, and then you can work like over there. Like you do your thing right there, and I do my thing right here. We call that parallel play. Kids do this very well. You'll see a kid over here playing with trains and a kid over there playing with cars. And they're in their own world. But as we get older, they make you feel bad for wanting your own space. Yeah, exactly. Parallel play. Oh, man. Oh. Speaking of freaky things, this is one of the freakiest things that somebody can do for you. Oh, if you're dating a neurodivergent, this will just turn them on. I promise you. If you're talking about freaky, go into the room with them. Don't say a single word. Just bring your laptop and just start working quietly. Just start working on whatever you're working on quietly. Do your thing. Don't say a single word. You will make their day. They will be so happy. They'll start running errands for you. You want some food? Ooh. We love this. Parallel play. Parallel play. We love it. Yep. My college roommate and I in the same room. This is funny right here. This is funny. This is funny. Yeah, parallel play. Yeah. We should talk about this more. Kayla says, I didn't agree to go out with him to our friends for 2 years the day before. Let me see what my TikTokers are saying about it. Parallel play and body doubling. The body doubling aspect. The parallel play for the autism than the body doubling for the ADHD, because you are more productive when other people are in the vicinity. And this is one of the big reasons why I think a lot of people are moving away from remote work. And remote work can be convenient, but when you're around other people, that's natural stimulation. The issue is that if you're around a lot of people, you'll be focused and you'll be locked in, and then people come and talk to you and they'll throw you off, and now we're behind. But if you can be in the same vicinity, and I work here and you work there, oh my goodness. I love it so much. It's one of the best things in this life. I love it so much. Yeah, body doubling and parallel play. Yes, this is some of the freakiest stuff you can do for your person. I've never seen somebody attempt to parallel play and body double with their partner, and it led to an argument. Think about that. I've never seen somebody do this, especially if their partner is neurodivergent. This is like, you understand our social battery. I mean, I could talk about this for hours. I love it. Someone on TikTok says, I wish my office understood that. Laura says, feeling this in my soul. Cassie said, I really like the guy I'm talking to now because he gives me space, but we can rekindle like nothing. Guys and girls, this is a fairly simple concept, but once you understand that some people just need their space, they just need their space. Yeah, like Cassie said, I really like the guy I'm talking to because he gives me space, but we can rekindle like nothing. Space is so, because sometimes when you don't get a person space, it feels very invasive. Like I like you, but I'm just a little too much right now. Please just give me, let me breathe, please. Just please. Ooh, amazing. The guy I'm dating had a meltdown and I broke up with him. All right, Lauren, let's get to the bottom of that. Like, why? Now, if you're dating somebody on the spectrum or they have ADHD and you can't be nice to them, then okay, yeah, I guess it's better to break up with them than to be mean to them. Yeah. Parallel play is for hobbies, body doubling is for chores, something you don't want to do. Yeah. Sometimes parallel play can work for things that we have to do, but just in general, if you can get this type of thing going, it's a good thing. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. And maybe even a business, because we love business ideas, but a business where you can invite people over to your house to help you clean and do the dishes or whatever, and then in return you go to their house and help them clean. Because once we have the people around, all of a sudden it's like the natural dopamine that we were lacking all day. There's a business idea somewhere there. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Miss Yogi, tighten up. Oh, Lauren, he was acting out. Okay. All right, respect. And if it doesn't work, then cool. Respect. I'm never going to feel comfortable in a relationship, especially without liquor. All right, so um, now I'm not sure if you're neurodivergent, but this is something that a lot of neurodivergents deal with, having a hard time being comfortable without the help of a substance. I will say that this is a bit of a slippery slope because if you have a little of liquor, or you have a couple of edibles or a joint, and you feel better and you're comfortable in a relationship, then now we can let our guard down. It's all good. However, if you need that in order to continue being comfortable in a relationship, it can, like I said, be a bit of a slippery slope. But a lot of neurodivergents don't feel like they can let their guard down and be themselves, so to say, without the help of substances. So this is definitely a neurodivergent struggle, and there shouldn't be any shame around this. Yeah. Vice. Okay. We all have our vices. We all got different vices here and there. And L says, why does everyone seem like they need to abuse substances nowadays? So I'll make this comment and then I got to wrap up. I don't think people intentionally try to abuse substances, but when you find something that helps you regulate your emotions and regulate your mood and makes you feel better, as a neurodivergent, especially if you have an addictive personality, you gotta be careful, because if you lean on that one time's too many, before you know it, you're always reaching for it, and it becomes difficult to operate without that thing. Now with alcohol, oh, you gotta go pee. All right, give me a second, Chasty. You're tired, huh? I'll let you go pee. Don't worry. Now with alcohol, you have the hangover the next day. You have a reminder of how bad it feels to feel like this. However, with gardening, with the Mary Jane, it can be very difficult because you can go days, weeks, months, sometimes longer than that, without realizing that it's become a problem. And then when you wake up out of the days, you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get my life back together. Zoe, be nice. She fed up on me. And Bob Lewis says, I just got diagnosed last year with autism and ADHD. My husband, likely ADHD, loves me the way I am. See, these neurodivergent relationships, that just might be the route for a lot of us to go. Okay. All right. This is a dope live stream, y'all. This is a dope live stream. Oof. Dope live. No. I'm happy you saw that. She's an Australian Shepherd, so she's one of those herding dogs. One of those herding dogs. And also, hold on, let me get these. I just want to make a comment about people spamming the chat. Do your best to not spam, please, so that way we can have an enjoyable experience for everybody. Just have to block somebody because the spamming is too much. So, guys, sometimes I see your comment and I can't get to it. I do my best. Can the substance be the same with sex too? This is funny right here. Yeah, that's my dog. Yes, you can numb yourself, and hypersexuality is something that is definitely a thing. But I mean, it could be, but I think that the substances are a bit more dangerous because like it takes two to tango, with sex. So like the person has to be around. You can be all by yourself, and you can drink by yourself. You can smoke a couple of joints by yourself. You can be all by yourself and not have to deal with boredom because of the substances. So that's quite tricky. Just be mindful of your relationship with substances. And I mean, for me, the sober life is the life for me. But some people are, some neurodivergents are able to, drink it every now and then a little bit, and get high every now and then, and they say that it doesn't affect them as much. So this all depends. We're all looking for an outlet. Yeah, no. Alex asks or says, which reminds me, yeah. And some people are able. I know people who will go to an event and they don't want to drink wine. They want to take like a half of a gummy and get giggly, and they're okay with that, and they're able to get the things that they want to get done, and they're fine. So I don't think we should demonize anything specifically and say, oh, that person's bad because they use this, or this person's bad because they use that. So it's more so of you evaluating how that substance affects you in your life, and if it's something that has been beneficial, or if it's something that that is hurting you. So I always say it's always best to reevaluate and to just ask yourself, is it helping or is it hurting? And this is why meditation, guys, I keep going back to it. Meditation can be so powerful. And that's just you sitting there looking at the wall for a good 30 minutes and just thinking about your life and thinking about your choices and thinking about where you are and where you want to be, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be. There's going to be some action there, but what do you have to prioritize? Sometimes you sit with yourself and the answer comes to you. It's a very powerful thing. I've implemented meditation into my routine this year, and it's been one of the most enlightening things. I force myself to sit down and sit with an uncomfortable thought and just sit there. I can't get out of it. Sit there. This is a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing, guys. Powerful thing. Yeah. And Bree, it wasn't your spam comment. There's other people who were just like spamming and dropping a couple of choice words in there. I ain't like that too funny. I ain't like that. All right, guys. I gotta get up, but tomorrow, let me see. Tomorrow, I got a team meeting, 7 o'clock. Yeah, tomorrow we'll go live. I have to get it a little bit earlier. Yeah, we'll go live early tomorrow. We will shoot for 6 o'clock California time. So we'll be live the same way. And also, I might set up the other setup in the living room to give it a different look. I'm thinking about that. Not for the late night show. We'll probably just stick with this look because like this is late night. But a morning show would be hella dope. I won't overcommit right now, but that'd be hella dope. If I can get to bed on time. All right. I love all y'all. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, 6 o'clock California time, which is 9 o'clock in Atlanta, Georgia, which is 8 o'clock in Nashville, Tennessee, which is 7 o'clock in Phoenix, Arizona, which is 6 o'clock in Seattle, Washington, which is 5 o'clock in Juneau, Alaska, which is 4 o'clock in Honolulu, Hawaii. So love y'all. Peace. Take care, and see y'all tomorrow. Try and get some sleep, please. I'll do the same.